The Galactic Betting Consortium's main hall buzzed with excitement as thousands of alien species gathered around the massive holographic displays. Credits changed hands faster than hyperspace jumps as the most lucrative wager in galactic history was about to begin. "Ladies, gentlemen, and assorted non-binary entities," announced Zythak, the four-armed Cetarian bookmaker, his voice echoing through translation matrices across the hall. "We present the ultimate underdog scenario, humanity versus the Kethvar hegemony." Laughter rippled through the crowd. The Kethvar were known throughout the galaxy as the ultimate military force, a species that had conquered 17 sectors without losing a single battle. Their ships were built from quantum-forged adamantium, their soldiers were genetically enhanced for warfare, and their strategic AI was considered unbeatable. Humans, on the other hand, had only recently stumbled into space using primitive chemical, rockets, and fusion drives. Their ships looked like flying scrap metal compared to Kethvar dreadnoughts, and their military tactics seemed almost barbarically simple. "Current odds," Zythak continued, his tentacles dancing over the betting console, "stand at 50,000 to 1 against humanity." The crowd erupted. Credits flowed like solar winds as alien after alien placed their bets. The Zephyrians bet their entire mining fleet's worth. The crystalline Vorthan Empire wagered 3 solar systems. Even the usually conservative Aquatic Council threw in their planet's water reserves. In the far corner of the hall, a small, gray-skinned figure watched quietly. Keeper Nyx of the Observer Guild had studied humans longer than any other being in the galaxy. While others saw primitive apes with nuclear weapons, Nyx saw something different, something terrifying and beautiful that the galaxy wasn't prepared for. As the final bets were placed, the Kethvar fleet moved into position around Earth's solar system. 1,000 ships, each the size of a small moon, armed with planet crackers and reality-bending weaponry. Against them, humanity fielded barely. 200 vessels hastily constructed and crewed by volunteers who had never seen real combat. The battle began at dawn on Mars Standard Time. The Kethvar opened with their traditional overwhelming assault, waves of plasma fire designed to break enemy morale before the real fighting began. But something unexpected happened. The human ships didn't break formation. Instead, they did something no military strategist had ever recorded. They sang. Every human ship, every crew member, began broadcasting the same song across all communication channels. "We Will Rock You" thundered through space, picked up by Kethvar sensors and transmitted back to the betting consortium in real time. "What are they doing?" whispered a Deltharian trader, his bet slip trembling in his claw. The humans charged. What followed defied every principle of space warfare. Human ships, outgunned and outmanned, began using tactics that no sane species would attempt. They rammed Kethvar dreadnoughts with ships loaded with nuclear weapons. They used their own vessels as shields to protect damaged allies. Some crews actually ejected themselves into space in boarding pods, attempting to take enemy ships hand to hand. It was suicidal. It was insane. It was working. The Kethvar, for all their military superiority, had never faced an enemy that simply refused to acknowledge they were beaten. Their strategic algorithms couldn't compute human behavior. How do you plan against an enemy that turns their medical ships into missile platforms? How do you counter pilots who disable their own life support systems to gain extra power for weapons? By hour 6, something impossible happened. The first Kethvar ship fell. The betting hall fell silent. "Impossible," Zythak muttered, all 4 of his eyes glued to the displays. "The humans just took down a battlecruiser with a cargo hauler and some kind of... Is that duct tape?" By hour 12, the impossible became routine. Human crews were jury-rigging weapons from mining equipment, turning civilian ships into kamikaze missiles, and somehow, impossibly, turning the tide of battle through sheer bloody-minded refusal to die quietly. The turning point came when Captain Sarah Chen of the UES Defiance discovered that human music interfered with Kethvar neural networks. Within minutes, every human ship was broadcasting everything from death metal to opera directly at enemy forces. Kethvar pilots began experiencing seizures. Their coordination broke down. Their advanced technology became a liability as their own systems turned against them. As the final Kethvar command ship limped away from the solar system, its hull scarred and its crew traumatized, the Galactic Betting Consortium faced a crisis unprecedented in its 1,000-year history. The payout was astronomical. Every major civilization in the galaxy had bet against humanity, and now they owed odds of 50,000 to 1. The Zephyrian Empire had to surrender their entire mining operation. The Vorthan Empire lost 3 systems. The Aquatic Council went completely dry, but the real winner sat in the corner quietly collecting his winnings. Keeper Nix had bet everything on humanity, not because he believed they were stronger or smarter than the Kethvar, but because he understood something the rest of the galaxy missed. Humans weren't just another species. They were the universe's way of saying that sometimes the impossible just needs the right soundtrack. As Nix's credits transferred into accounts that would set him up for several lifetimes, he smiled and whispered the phrase that would become legendary throughout the galaxy. Never bet against a species crazy enough to punch physics in the face and ask for seconds. The Galactic Betting Consortium declared bankruptcy the next day. 3 major civilizations had to restructure their entire economies, and somewhere in the outer rim, human crews were already planning their next impossible victory, humming off-key battle songs and held together by determination, duct tape, and an inexplicable belief that the universe owed them a favor. The galaxy would never be the same.